Everybody, welcome back to Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. Fairly fast, easy runs lately. I'm going to apologize in advance. I might sound a little bit different. I'm going to give you the timeline for this new garbled speech. QJBM's oomph. Oomph, how about that? Last Wednesday, had some soup for a late lunch. Soup. I burned the roof of my mouth on the soup. It's always a bad sign, you know. Mouth injuries, you know, they're annoying for one, and they tend to compound. Is the second thing that's frustrating. So I burned the roof of my mouth, mighty bad. You know, it's when like you get molten cheese stuck to the roof of your mouth. It feels bad, man, and it's like, you know, because it's almost like a plasma. You know, you just getting the. Oh, that's pretty good. Just getting the hot matter out of there doesn't really solve it, you know? There's like almost a semi-solid, semi-liquid that, you know, sticks to the roof of your mouth that makes it even worse. But I knew I was like, every time, because I never learned my lesson, but every time I burn the roof of my mouth on a piece of food, I always get like a tongue blister. Like a week later. And that's where we're sitting right now. I looked at it in the mirror, just a little, the size of like a single atom on the underside of my tongue. But it's about the size of a grain of sand, but it feels like it's, I don't know, like I got a marble in there or something. So occasionally, it just messes up your whole speech muscle memory, because you're talking and then your tongue goes into a certain position, and it kind of, it doesn't even hurt, but it just kind of like irritates a little bit, and then you go, ugh, you know? So I apologize. I promise you it is not a neurological failing. It is merely... Come on. It is merely an abrasion. But there's nothing to fear, you know, in the whole scheme of things. It's pretty minor. If you'll excuse me, I have to close this pop-up here. The Epic Game Store is telling me that the Blair Witch Project is now free for a limited time. That's a great piece of news, don't get me wrong, creator code Northernlion, but also simultaneously, I have to let you know, Epic Game Store, it is November the 2nd. On November the 2nd, we no longer are we going to be playing scary games. Now we exclusively play Christmas games. November 1st begins the new Christmas season. Hold on, I do, like, straight up, I've been pretty blessed on this run so far. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Wait, oh, yes. Oh, come on. I've been pretty blessed on this run so far, financially speaking. The map is a really nice buy. However, we do want to get one more cent, because if we can get the red candle, this is, like, all sorted out. And, you know, the wooden nickel is fine. It's definitely not a bad item. It's not particularly strong unless you're playing as the keeper. And you might be one of those people right now that's like, hey, NL, you know what would be smart there is actually if you took Chaos instead. I'm not a believer. I think the existing good item pipeline, you know, is well-founded. Sometimes Chaos works out, sometimes it doesn't, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta bet on some high percentage plays. Sometimes you gotta bet on some high percentage plays. We want Magic Mush. I was gonna say all stats, but I didn't. Okay, moving down to the next floor. Let me caffeinate here. It is indeed Monday. I'm not sure if there's anything important happening this week. Seems like a pretty low-key week, right? Did you hear about this one? I've spent much of this morning in, well, in like a semi-delirious, you know, sleep-addled state. Our very, you know, narcoleptic baby has been replaced with... a baby that, I would not say like is overly fussy, but is definitely like not as low maintenance this week as she was last week. Like she's doing a lot of this. Let me know if you've ever heard this one before. Wah wah. That's known as crying. I wish I hadn't taken that Eternal Heart, to be honest with you. I wish I hadn't taken the Eternal Heart. However, I do think there is a world in which we end up playing that blood bank. And I think the way that it works is if we get a shop that has a really incredible item, we may decide that it's worth sacrificing the guaranteed HP upgrade for the shop item plus the chance to get the HP upgrade back via the blood bag. It's not a good chance, you know, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. So you know what? What we gotta do is find 3 in the bush. I think people falsely believe that that's, it's not as useful, actually, now that I think about it, but still. You know, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. That means you should always take the sure thing. No, it doesn't. It means, you should take the sure thing if it seems like even odds. If the odds are forever in your favor, like in Panem, then I would recommend, you know, like if somebody says, hey, nice bird, I've got 4 in the bush. You want to trade? I would be like, you know what? You're getting ripped off, sir. I'll take that deal in a heartbeat. Well, it costs us 2 bombs to get in, and then we get 2 bombs. It's like a mail-in rebate, except for the first time in human history, we're actually going to use it. Then we're going to spend the 1 bomb and a key. And an incredible payout. We will be hit. I really tried, but it had me beat. Dude, that's pretty amazing. It's not what we want to stick with right now, but just to get the guppy item for free is really nice. But yeah, I spent about an hour this morning, because you know how like all restaurants and grocery stores in the pandemic are offering curbside pickup? So in my head, I've been trying to make a joke work, and the punchline is cribside pickup. I haven't been able to finesse it yet. The pandemic's getting so bad, my baby's not okay with curbside pickup anymore. She wants cribside pickup. Can you believe this? I've come to the conclusion that it's it's like my least favorite. You know what? I'm gonna go for it here. It's my least favorite genre of joke, which is like somebody on Twitter makes an overly elaborate setup that clearly never happened, and all basically we've already seen our second secret room. It all coalesces in one like terrible pun. So I was at the grocery store the other day, tweet 1 of 52, and then at the end it's like, so I said 12 items or fewer, you know, and you're just like, oh my god, I hate it. But then people are tripping over themselves. Lol, 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 I get it. I get the joke. Okay, this is a weird one. It's a weird one, but I did it. Why did I do it? I don't know. I think it was maybe we got a little aggressive on this one. Maybe we got a little aggressive on this one. But you know what? Just work with me here. We're not going to play this. It's missed its chance. I can live with that. What we're looking for here really is an HP upgrade, even though we do also have Whore of Babylon. It's kind of a weird setup. Cambion Conception and Whore of Babylon don't really... I mean, we got something. I'll take it, but they don't really play nice together, right? Like, one of them requires you to not have any red hearts. One of them requires you to have red hearts. So that you can, well, ideally have red hearts so you can take damage and actually get Cambion Conception, you know, working out. But I would say for the time being, I bet we could have bought Black Candle if we'd actually gone through and held Swallowed Penny. No, Swallowed Penny and Counterfeit Penny are different. Okay, never mind. I think we did the right thing. I don't think we could have made it happen. But regardless, it's a little spicy. But I'm content to, you know, live in the spice for the time being. We do like this room a lot right now. We're only 2 items away from becoming Guppy, which is admittedly, you know, it's not immediate. But it's okay. Definitely like a realistic chance to happen. And we should, whenever possible, we really should, you know, put a little effort into constructively taking damage. Like, it's a touch spicy for sure, you know, it's maybe not like at a Vindaloo level, but certainly you're like, oh, this pack's more of a punch than I expected. Like, for example, this was a room I wanted to go into in a big way because of the fact that we get hit, and also there's the Guppy item chance. And believe it or not, I think we're going to Guppy's Paw, so we get the Whore of Babylon set up early. It's not, like, so incredible. because it does mean we can't use our red hearts for Cambion conception purposes, but without an IV bag, without a blood bank for at least one floor, I'm going to hit you with the fat who cares. Nobody cares. We're better off this way. And we are going to roll left hand. You tend to see less poop after the first 2 floors of the game, as I'm sure you're aware. And, you know, we're kind of like, as long as our HP holds, we're kind of off to the races. As of right now. 1 guppy item, and we're set in stone here. Just literally, as I was walking, I saw it kind of glowing on the ground, but I went, it's not gonna get me. It's well worth it, dude. Like, so you take 1 hit. Just hear me out here, because I think this is how we want to do it. Yeah. No, okay, hold on. There we go. We definitely want to keep red candle. What we want to do is just create a situation where we used merely 1 HP. Let's go. In order to get Bookworm. So that Bookworm pickup is mighty nice. It took a little bit of skill, but you know, I would say after 10 years in the game here, I've got a little bit of skill. I don't know if I would say that I got a lot, but anyway, it was a good weekend this weekend. Halloween was a bit of a... I mean, it's always, you know, it's... You're gonna make me be the bad guy, okay? 2020 is the year that I've become vindicated for not being the biggest fan of both Halloween and St. Patrick's Day. Now, I'll admit, not being the biggest fan of oh, baby. I honestly think we'll drop our trinket. I'm not gonna go back for, the other trinket, just because I think it's kind of unnecessary now, but this is a really good get. It's the fastest guppy we've had in ages, dude. Being an anti-Halloween guy is very curmudgeonly. I can't deny that. It makes you look like a curmudgeon, because what people do is they come up with this, like, false, like, oh, what, you hate kids having fun? And then, you know, what I really don't like is it being, like, insanely loud, I guess, is the only thing. Like, I just have a problem with... my least favorite holidays are holidays that are basically set up for, like, adults to have an excuse to get drunk. And for a couple of reasons. I'm not a teetotaler, but on the other hand, I'm like, you know, if you could just hold it together, then it wouldn't be a problem. But, you know, if you gotta be dodging vomit from Freddy Fazbear on Robson Street, it's kind of annoying, you know? But this year has kind of, it's vindicated me a little bit, because both St. Patrick's Day and Halloween are portrayed in a very negative light thanks to the pandemic, you know? It sucked this year we weren't able to get any trick-or-treaters. You know, we had like 1 trick-or-treater come by. And I know you're like, well, of course you didn't have many, it's a global pandemic. Hold on, let me caffeinate here. We got all sorts of solutions for that. You know, we got contactless candy delivery devices. People are setting PVC pipes up. Oh, we're just going to take the money and run here. And then, you know, they're just dropping the candy through the chute with, like, a Lysol wipe attached to it. You know, there's ways of getting around it. But I definitely also understand, like, you know, if we had... if our daughter, I should say, was, like, trick-or-treat age... Would we have trick-or-treated this weekend? Absolutely not. I'm glad we don't have to make that decision. Hopefully, the decision... it won't have to be made in, like, 2023, but... Anyway. So I completely understand, but, you know, it's kind of a bust. We were looking forward to it, but... It is what it is. I was kind of losing it, though, for a couple of reasons. One is, it was kind of, like, national news, but, you know, the nightlife district in Vancouver was so insanely packed on Halloween night. Like, people shoulder to shoulder, no distancing, and you're like... It's very frustrating, for sure, you know? To see the idea that, you know... the curve might actually end up going upwards for... And people, they hit you with things that, in my opinion, like, without being too offensive, are just idiotic. They're like, people's mental health is gonna suffer if you keep them locked in. I think there's an element of truth to that, for sure. However, is it really the best thing for your mental health to go out and have, like, you know, $9, $12 cocktails, and then just stand in the middle of the street, you know, coughing on each other? Is that what you're fighting to, you know, maintain the right to do? It just seems a little weird to me. Even in pre-pandemic times, that was more of like a mental health negative for me. Just to be surrounded by other intoxicated people going, yeah, 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 you know. Every 30 seconds, somebody just shouts woo for no reason. Anyway. That was one reason. I forgot the other reason is, like, you know, we saw so many things in Vancouver where, like, well-meaning people accidentally became part of the problem. Like, there were so many things where it was like, you know, your kids can't trick-or-treat this year. So as, you know, a store, what we're going to do is set up, like, a nice little Halloween event where you can take your kids can walk around, they could take a picture with like Mickey Mouse or whatever, and then you know, we'll give out candy. But we drove by some of these places and we're like, you recognize the reason there's no trick-or-treating encouraged this year is as a result of the fact that, you know, there's like you're not supposed to have crowds and, you know, touch strangers. And then there would just be like, you know, 40 or 50 families crowded together on the sidewalk or in a parking lot really close together. And you're like, just... Look, I'm really trying here, okay? I'm trying to maintain a merely healthy level of misanthropy. I'm not trying to slip off the edge and become like Lewis Black or something like that. I'm just saying... We don't need any of this. I don't even think we want to play the Demon Judgment. It's just tempting fate, even with Cambion Conception. It's just like, you know, kind of like use your head a little bit, I guess. Like, you said no trick-or-treating. What you didn't say is no, raves. Kind of feel bad for our provincial government. I mean, this is getting more openly political than usual, but it's just frustrating, right? Like... Feel bad for our provincial government because I feel like they've made the assumption that, like, people are well-meaning and smart, and I really think, you know, like 80% of the population is, but the other 20% is like addicted to technicalities. They're the kind of people that would like go to an all-you-can-eat buffet and stay for like 7 hours, you know? Excuse me, it says on the ticket all-you-can-eat. I have not had all I can eat. I've merely had all I want to eat for right now. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to get back to loitering here until the dinner hour, where I will again eat all I care to eat, and then we will return to the subject post-haste. You know, it's people like that. That all the messaging here has been like, we encourage people to not, you know, be dumb about it. And most people are like, I get it, we're adults, you know, we should, you know, do the right thing without having to be forced to. Then there's like, you know, one in 5 people maybe is like, that she said she's encouraging it. She didn't say it's illegal. Anyway, so hopefully like that gets sorted out. Not necessarily advocating for a more authoritarian. He tried to make a point, and then he said the word wrong. How embarrassing. Not necessarily advocating for a more authoritarian regime, but perhaps a more authoritarian... you know what? I think we will take the coupon for some Deal with the Devil access here. Perhaps a more authoritarian messaging, at least. Like, maybe we should do the opposite of the Teddy Roosevelt, you know? He said, speak softly and carry a big stick. What if you, like, spoke very harshly, but you carried, like, a feather duster? That's, you know, I don't want people to get thrown in prison for... A lot of people do, by the way, if you look on social media. I would laugh a little bit sometimes. I'm like, you know, I was watching these videos of the parties on Granville Street, and I was like, it's frustrating. For sure, don't get me wrong. And then people would, like, leave a reply like, everybody identified in this video should get 5 years in prison minimum. And I'm like, thank God that is not how the law works. Is you just look at something you don't like and then go, I don't know. 5 years seems appropriate. I think it's good that there's a certain level of bureaucracy there. I'm not always the biggest fan of bureaucracy. I think that's a situation where having some level of oversight makes a great deal of sense. Otherwise, let's be honest, we'd all be locked up for, you know, oh, you didn't use your turn signal once, that's, you know, 6 months in jail, ordering more than 3 meats at the deli counter, etc., etc. You get the idea. It should be 25 to life is what I'm trying to get at. I think the messaging should be like, if you do this again, we're gonna get you. But then, like, actually make them completely toothless in the reality of the situation. That's my ideal, I guess. Anyway, so that's a very problematic start to the episode, but no problems here in terms of our actual gameplay. Nah, we don't want it. In terms of our gameplay, we are crushing it. And of course, as always, when I say we're crushing it in terms of our gameplay, what I mean is we have been gifted an incredible run. Nah. So I know we just got Coupon. The thing is, the Coupon was better than Red Candle, I think. But we don't really need either of them. The D6 is a little bit more effective. That might have been Beelzebub. Even the Miter, there's a temptation, but we kind of have the luxury of fishing for a more incredible item. That's not it, but we'll learn to live with it. And I kind of want to, like, realistically, we're probably not going to do Boss Rush. I kind of want to see what might be going on in there. You know what I mean? So anyway, like, honestly, if anything, this year's Halloween has made me more pro-Halloween. I know that sounds, like, extremely backwards. But really, like, I'm more pro-Halloween, at least in a sense. Like, it was very frustrating. Maybe, you know, my perspective has changed as a result of having a kid now. But it was really, like, kind of sad to read stories of people that were watching, like, people partying on Granville Street. Like, you know, hey, no big deal. We told our, like, 5-year-old kid no Halloween this year because of something that they can't even understand. But, yeah, sure, go ahead and, like, you know, get trashed. Because of what? Because it's October the 31st and, like, just ignore public health principles? I don't know, man. I just don't understand the counter argument. Dude, come on. Like, I'm all for bending the curve. I'm all for bending the curve, but it's Halloween, dude. If we let the virus take Halloween from us, by which I mean putting on a mask and then, you know, going out to a nightclub, then the virus wins. And if the virus wins, well, then what comes next, you know? I more support the, you know, the school-age children sort of Halloween now. That's my take on the subject. But anyway. So I'm like, if you're having a wholesome Halloween out there, that's fine. If you're having a non-wholesome Halloween out there, that's fine too. Like, honestly, I don't really have a problem. Like, if you think that I'm talking about you because you got together with, like, 3 friends and played board games all night, it's not the case at all. You know, if you're maintaining a relatively tight bubble, more power to you. If you're spitting on strangers on the sidewalk, that's where I have a slight issue. And by slight, I mean, please, for the love of God, stop. But I know you're not watching this video anyway. Anyway. What do we got in here? It's probably worth it just to get us back into the Whore of Babylon state. And then the double chest is good. We have, like, a great luck stat. I mean, this run is actually, it's pogging up way faster than I thought it would. You know, when we used the teleport card on the Depths 2, I did not think that the run would be over in, like, 3 minutes. But that is increasingly looking like how this is going to go down. I'm super stoked that we've had, you know, the map and the compass in particular. That's like an old school Isaac classic. To have the map and the compass. It's actually, like, this is a very Flash Isaac type run right now. Guppy notwithstanding, like, the way you won in Flash Isaac was basically map, compass, and then blue candle. And if you could get map, compass, and blue candle, then, like, you were set. Nothing could stop you. Nobody gonna break your stride, and nobody gonna slow you down. Beelzebub? Rotten Baby is not a Beelzebub item, huh? You would think after, you know, 20 years, I would actually learn that, but Come on, NL. It hasn't been 20 years yet. It's only been 10 years. Let's not be ridiculous. Anyway, I apologize for being on a soapbox a little early on, but I guess it is kind of the week for it, for sure. It's just kind of like, you know, it's the realization for that, you know, a lot of people just, A, don't care about, like, other people around them, and then B, that kind of, like, you know, envy almost of, like, watching other parts of the world that, and by other parts of the world, I mean New Zealand, that kind of, like, you know, anytime they've had a spike, have locked down, and then, you know, within, like, 2 months, things are temporarily back to normal. I get that they have to, like, lock down again, but, you know, you're like, you know, if you go back to, like, we were talking about in, like, March and April, we're like, I'm sure I have enough faith in humanity that I'm sure, like, by the time, you know, Kate goes into delivery, like, things are going to be relatively calm. And then you're like, what? It's worse than ever? And then you got the increasing specter of, like, people are just, like, I don't know, man. Probably should stop talking about it, but I do think a lot of people are agreeing with me. But people are like, you know, I'm tired of it. I'm kind of bored of it now. I'm like, dude, you're 37 years old. What do you mean you're bored of it? Get over it. I get it. Like, you know, let's get on to the new catastrophe. Don't we have an asteroid that's supposed to crash into the Earth at some point? But, like, you know, if you could just chill out, we could get Halloween back, you know? We just gotta, like, maybe take Easter off. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And again, my apologies. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. See ya!